So, what could a worker do if they didn't want to be taken advantage of? They had to join a labor union. Um, if your boss is abusing you, you could quit, or you could get all the other workers who are being treated the same way as you to threaten to interrupt the workplace, make it unprofitable to be running that company. So, that was what the goal of labor unions were. One person alone can hardly take on a corporation, but hundreds, if not thousands, of workers together, they had some weight. So the goals of labor unions was to get higher wages for their workers, fewer work hours, and safer conditions, all things we relish in today. And because of the effort of labor unions, they will get limited work hours and regulate working conditions. For instance, the 40-hour work week, the weekend, that was a union game. Safe work environments where you can get workman's compensation from your employer if you get hurt on the job. Again, that's a union game. Now, unions, the biggest tool that they have is the strike. Now, if a union goes on strike, they will essentially shut down that workplace until the owner of that workplace negotiates with the workers to get them back to work. Okay. Now, there were various labor organizations within the United States. One was the Knights of Labor, led by Terence Powderly. This was one of the largest unions in the country, and they took pretty much everyone who was a skilled tradesman. There was also the American Federation of Laborers, led by Samuel Gompers. There was the American Railway Union. They represented railway workers, obviously, led by Eugene Debs. And there was also the International Ladies Garment Workers Union. They're a union that came up after the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory fire. Now, when unions went on strike, did not always go the best. So on the next 3 slides are 3 little snippets. Now, what I would encourage you to do is, as I click through, take a second to pause, because I'm not going to have time in this video to go through each one of them with you. So pause at each slide, take a second to read, and you will get an idea. Now, the sad thing about unions is that their efforts don't always go according to plan. It's especially hard for unions to work if there is somebody in the crowd who interrupts their actions through violence. If a union is perceived as being violent and being destructive, then the community is less likely to work with them and hear their needs out. So oftentimes this could lead to the straight up death of various labor unions.